Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly update on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Today we are going to do a 4-card read just to, check in.
Yeah.
And I am here with my lovely bride.
Hello, everybody. I am Melanie Rose here with Jennifer Rose. And, we've been checking in once a week on the Ukraine and Russia conflict just to sort of, see if we can sort of intuit what's happening going forward. And, a lot of stuff has happened in the last week. We had some cyber attacks. We had some separatist attacks. We've had the expelling of a U.S. diplomat from Russia. So we have
overall lies. Just
right?
we're gonna take out our troops, and they're adding troops.
Russia saying that they're drawing down while they're actually. I saw a video earlier, and it was like a video that Russia had presented as evidence that they were pulling their tanks back, but it looked like just a picture of a train like rolling in reverse, like a video that they had just turned around and rolled it in reverse.
Maybe.
I think it's possible.
Yes.
So we have a 4-card draw today.
Yeah, 4-card draw today. And the first card will be the current situation.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using the Deviant Moon deck today. Well, we got
situation.
Current situation. Let's see if I can get this without a glare. Is the Judgment card. So, yes, we all sit in judgment on this, huh? Judgment in so many ways. Like, who can you believe?
This is a real time of reckoning. Looking at how we judge ourselves as a nation. And what I mean by that is like those of us in the United States, because the United States is getting involved, has been getting more involved in this conflict. But also just sort of like, gosh, this is the moment where it's like, the truth will come out, right?
Right. Right. I look at this and I just see somebody just like this image here of this person just beating their head up against their hand. I feel like that's how Ukrainians feel right about this moment, or everyone that is dealing with Vladimir Putin in Russia and the Russian government. It's really frustrating and it's really hard. We don't know what kind of judgment to use. Like we want to believe the words that flow out of people's mouths, and yet that
we also have evidence we don't have to believe. We can't believe. Yeah, like. Oh man.
Yeah. And also we sit in judgment, like everyone's judging every different country and their responses, where we as humans, wherever you're at, are judging all these governments and what our government is doing and what we can do, and it's just
how involved we should be, and how much of our business it is. But right. I mean, I think it's our business because national sovereignty isn't a thing to overlook. And when we overlook national sovereignty, this is the lesson of World War II. When we overlook the sovereignty of nations, when we allow nations to take over other nations, then that blight just spreads.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we've been dealing with somebody who's, who we've had to trust and try to take at their word, but who has not shown us really any reason.
No, Vlad.
Okay, so what does Ukraine need out of this situation? That's our second card.
What does Ukraine need out of this situation? They need the High Priestess is what they need. They need some some guidance and intuition. They really need to step back and figure out what I guess what they need from this situation, like seriously what they need from this situation. Let me think about this here.
Well, I'll tell you what I see there. The first thing that came to my mind was the goddess Athena. Okay, so the goddess of Athena is a goddess of war, and it's not like the goddess Ares or Mars, who's a god of just being, going right in there and doing battle no matter what. Goddess Athena is about war with strategy. So to me, this says that Ukraine needs some higher guidance, maybe some help from a higher power, honestly, help from a higher power, and maybe that's NATO, maybe that's the other nation states that are involved, but it needs a strategy, it needs to trust some guidance and, they're way outnumbered. They're vastly outnumbered, and without the help of without a little help from the outside, from more powerful entities, I don't see them being able to maintain their sovereignty.
I mean, I see a whole lot in this card too, like, this snake head here, with the angels, the dark side of this card, in the red and gold. Russia, I mean, this is just like an inner conflict, right? Like, what's so really shitty about this whole thing is that, like, on the outskirts, we can understand where Vladimir Putin is, worried about NATO and, protecting his country, which, that's what he's supposed to do. And that's what he's supposed to be worried about. And then, like, the fact that there are Russians that don't agree with him in that country. And then there are Russians in Ukraine that, like, this is just a really divided, emotional, gosh.
It seems like a country divided against itself. Ukraine does. Definitely.
That's where I was getting to. Thank you. I got really wrapped up in the emotions of all this, like war. And this is just so entangled. It's just, there's so much involved here.
It's complicated. And so, like the guidance that normally comes with a high priestess is to trust your gut, your guidance, and your intuition. How you do that as a nation, like, I'm not a leader of nations at all, so I would not know how to trust my gut, my guidance, and my intuition. But I would definitely be looking to powers more powerful than what I have to help me out.
Gosh, that almost looks like a sickle. It almost looks like, Russia has invaded this card of Ukraine's even in just like a sly snake-like matter.
If anything, like the fact of Russia being on Ukraine's borders and inside Ukraine as well, in those separatist regions where like there's been bombing lately, that.
So Ukraine needs that to stop. What Ukraine needs is that encroachment and that disrespect and that hubris.
It needs more unity. Ukraine definitely could use some more unity. I believe that.
Yes.
And unification again with a higher power.
Yes.
Okay, so what does Russia need out of this?
What does Russia need out of this? Oops. The Two of Wands. So Russia needs to quit digging holes. Quit digging holes, literally and figuratively. Right. I mean, if you want to say that. But what Russia is trying to do is they're trying to build their country better. What is their? It's something. Russia has a slogan, kind of like, make Russia great again? I think it's something like make Russia powerful again or something like that. I don't know. I have such a disconnect with anything that's like that. But, Russia needs for these two sides to come together. So, all this green here, because they want money. They want the money and the power. Yeah. And they want to be able to put those seeds there. See, like they've already gotten some harvest out of this whole ordeal. So, that's what they need out of this is they need to weasel their way into someone else's fertile ground and take their harvest so they can have more money and power for themselves.
Perhaps if they spent more time working on a plan to plant seeds and grow alliances, they wouldn't have to plant so many landmines or encroach on other people's property to get what they think they need out of it. Russia is such a resource-rich country. There's nothing they can possibly need from Ukraine except just this idea that Ukraine is still part of Russia, or, like, well, what is yours is mine, and Ukraine has already declared its independence and declared its, like, in its constitution, its desire to be part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So, those things that Russia wants, are not the same things that Russia needs, as far as I'm concerned. What this tells me is that Russia, two of one, says, get a plan, have a longer view of what is possible, what is coming to us, and be strategic and make a good plan. And I don't know that he has a good plan, but I know that what he thinks he needs to do is take back Ukraine. I don't know what he thinks that's gonna do for him, except put him in a position to take over another one of those Eastern Bloc countries.
Right. Well, obviously here, these are not, human feats. So there is no regard for human perspectives or human lives about this. This is about the almighty greed, and have you ever used post-hole diggers? Like, it is nearly impossible. It's almost kind of like playing teeter-totter. You can't do it by yourself almost. Especially, if you're just not prone to doing that type of work, that kind of strength work. It's almost like you need one person on one end and one person on the other in order to make that work. And I think that's exactly what Russia needs everyone to believe, that they want to make this work, that this is the fatherland. This is how everything is supposed to be. And the only way that Russia is going to work is if you get those two together to plant the seed together. And they're, we all know there's no seed there for Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, and that they really want this to be a power play and money.
Right. So what they've got is conflict, and what they need is cooperation.
And what they need is cooperation.
Sorry.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So the outcome.
The outcome.
What do we think the outcome is?
Especially this week. Like, what's going on?
Right. This week. What's going on? I just want to bring up, this is Jennifer. Last week I said that for some reason I had February 18th on my mind. And today is Thursday, February 17th.
It's currently the 18th over there.
Yeah, it's currently the 18th over there. I think they're 10 hours. So it's like, what? I don't know what time it is over there.
It's 4 a.m.
Oh, okay. So it's 4 a.m.
It's 6 o'clock
on the 18th.
Yeah.
In Russia right now. So we'll see what happens, when we wake up. So let's see what this outcome is through the cards. Oh, the moon.
The moon. We're headed to a dark place, friends.
We're headed to a dark place.
Where we are ruled by our emotions and intuitions.
Aren't we still technically in full moon in Leo?
Yeah. Until tomorrow. And then we're in the waning phase. So then it's time to start sort of reviewing and getting rid of things. So this is going to be a downhill time.
Right. And astrologically speaking, isn't it pretty ripe for war? Like Mars is charging forth in the atmosphere.
Well, Mars and Venus are conjunct right now, which means they're in the same place in the sky. They're both in Capricorn, which is a very worker mode. It's very ambitious, setting goals, wanting to achieve them. I don't believe you if you tell me that Vladimir Putin doesn't follow astrology, okay? Because his moves and actions really seem to go along with the moon phases and with what's going on. But definitely there's some worker mode in there. There's some full speed ahead. But really, we're working on our partnerships right now. And, Russia's attitude toward partnership with Ukraine seems to be like, it would be great if Ukraine belonged to Russia, and that would make a perfect partnership. But that doesn't seem to be Ukraine's idea of a great partnership with Russia. So, I think that the moon, which represents our inner lives, are these two planets, these two countries need to deal with their inner conflicts a little bit better before they can even seek partnership with one another.
So what I see here are two puppets of the moon, and that's Russia, and that is, I mean, I really think technically those are it's purple and white, but it does look blue and gold, or blue and yellow. Mm-hmm. You can see that their legs are intertwined there. It really is kind of, that should have been the feeling card there. That should have been the current feeling card there, because it's just some puppetry that's going on with some emotions. Like, this is a really emotional, that Vladimir Putin is really playing on people's emotions. And I think there's a part of Vladimir Putin that really believes that this country belongs together. Like, maybe there's even these countries belong together, and maybe he knows someone in Ukraine or loves someone in Ukraine. I know it sounds really crazy, but like, he still is a human being, and like, maybe there is something honestly in his heart that makes him want that, other than this greed, which I tell you is foremost. But in order for someone to manipulate someone, and to do it really well, you have to be able to tap into someone's feelings. Mm-hmm. And either like, they're tapping into one another's feelings right now, is what they're doing, and whoever wins the battle of that feelings, I guess, is gonna be the winner, huh? But they're still just like puppets to their emotions, and wow, I just can't stop to look. There's green and red and gold, and red and gold and black, and green and gold, and red and gold, and blue and yellow.
And those are Ukraine's colors, blue and yellow. Right. And red and gold is Russian.
Right.
Let's not forget that Vladimir Putin is Venus. So although he's a very smart and clever person, he is also very guided by his emotion, by his sense of love, and by his sense of what he thinks it would be fair for him to receive.
Yes.
Yes.
So outcome here, I mean, dark times ahead for sure, and that looks like they're fighting.
I think we're going to watch this stuff dance for another week.
Yeah.
We're going to see some minor escalations while these people, sort of ratchet up the tension and the emotion of the situation.
Yes.
I think that's where we'll be next week too.
I think you're right.
All right. The Deviant Moon cards have spoken. Mm-hmm.
And thanks for tuning in with us. And we will be back with another Ukraine-Russia conflict read next Thursday.
We'll see you then.
All right. Peace.
Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.